This week's stitch is, again, a combination of two stitches that we've learned before. It's called the honeycomb, and it is alternating stitches. And it doesn't matter the length of your chain. So let's go ahead and build our foundation row. Remember, it's the back humps. And we're going to do that all the way down the line. All right, so we're at the end, and that's what it should look like. That's your foundation row for everything you do in Tunisian. Most everything. Now, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a simple stitch. And the very first one, remember the simple stitch is, of course, you don't work in this first row because technically you have it. So now we go to the second stitch. Pull up and pull up one. Now this is where we're gonna do a purl. And to remember how to do a purl, you yarn over, go through the loop, drop your yarn, and then yarn over and pull through. Use your thumb if you have to. Simple stitch, purl, simple, purl. And you're gonna do this all the way down the line. Just alternate them. Simple, purl, simple, purl, simple, purl, simple, purl, simple, purl, simple, purl. Now, you can continue. I don't like the way when you do a simple stitch like this, I don't like that because it just looks, I don't know. When you start building up on it, you still have this gap. So I like to close the row off properly. So bring your needle down, bring your work, and you're looking for that, see that 2V right there? That's what we're looking to go through. The very first ones you're gonna get, which is based off your base chain. And then poke through, grab your yarn, make sure it's over, and then pull through. And then it's a same return pass. Chain one, and pull through two. Okay, so that's the base of it. We did one row. Now, since we started with the simple, now we're gonna go with the purl. And remember, never work on this edge one. You're working on this one. So, yarn over, drop it, and pick it back up and pull it through. Then we do a simple. And you can tell the ones you need to do it in, because of course the simple stitches look big, whereas the purls, you see the divots in them, the bumps at the bottom. So you'll know which ones you need to do the stitch in, because you're alternating your stitches. So if it's a Tunisian stitch or a simple stitch, it's going to be a purl stitch. So let's put a purl in there, and you can see that's a purl, so it's going to be a simple. That's a simple, and there goes a purl, and so forth, so on, all the way down to the end. Simple, purl, simple, purl, and remember, if you guys can like and subscribe these videos, it would greatly be appreciated, and it would help me out a lot. So we just finished a purl. Now we need to go back into a simple, and then a purl, simple, purl, and simple, and then drop. Just remember, just bring your work even with the row you just did, and then bend it the end, and it's going to line right on up. None of this hunting down stuff. Pull through one, chain one, same return pass. All right, so we did a purl there, so now it becomes a simple. I'm just trying to find a good place for that thing. And now we do a purl. This is going to be our third row. And then a simple, purl, 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 and then drop down even, bend your work right into your needle, grab it, pull through, chain one, normal return pass, so pull through two till the end. Okay, so we know we did a simple there, right? So now we know it's a purl. And then a simple. Remember, if it doesn't have the bump on the bottom, you change that up and put the opposite stitch on it. Has the bump, because you can kind of see it. And it's also going to be a lot tighter of a stitch, so it's simple. And then there's no bump, purl, see it, and simple. And that's what you're going to do all the way down again. And this stitch, like I said, is called the honeycomb stitch, and that's starting to come out. You can start to see the honeycomb pattern. Simple, purl, simple, purl, simple, purl, simple, purl, I can grab it, and simple. And then just drop your work down to that row, bend it, yep, pull through, chain one, and pull through two. You may be able to hear the wind outside, because it is windy. It's like 50 to 60 mile an hour winds where I live right now, with wind chills at around 7 Fahrenheit. So it's pretty cold. A lot of the area around where I live is getting a lot of snow. They've closed down a lot of major highways. So it's a winter day. All right. So that was row 4. This next stitch is going to be a simple, because you can tell we started at the purl. This is row 5. Then purl, simple, purl, simple. And remember, you can always make your work move for you versus you moving for your work. It's a lot easier to move the work than move yourself. I mean, you end up moving a lot, and you can put a lot of strain on your body, your back, your shoulders, your neck, your elbows, your wrist, your forearms, your fingers. So make your work work for you, or your needle, you know, either one. And it doesn't, you know, and bend your work if you have to. Now, I think I did mess up right there, didn't I? No, I didn't. I thought I did. It looked odd for a second. Yeah. And that's a simple. There goes a purl. Simple. Purl. Simple. Purl. Simple. Purl. Simple. Purl. Simple. And purl. And then we do the normal drop down, push through. Chain one and pull through two. When I'm crocheting, I like to watch TV shows. There's some of my go-tos that I watch, and I'll watch them from season 1 to, let's say, like Law and Order SVU. I'll watch that thing from season 1 to season 24. I think that's the current season. I can watch Stargate, all of them, over and over and over. Same with Star Trek. I'm a big Trekkie. And movies. I don't like to, when I'm crocheting, I don't like to watch new things, because that can throw me off, especially when I'm doing like a graph-gan, because you got to count, and it throws everything off when you have to pay attention. And I've had to pull rows upon rows of my graph-gans out because I wasn't paying attention because I was watching the show. All right, so that was row 5. Now off camera, if you would like, go ahead and do 5 more rows. I'm going to do those off camera, and then we'll meet back up at the end and discuss this, close off the stitch and discuss it. See you then. All right, we're back. We're going to finish up these last few stitches here, and then we're going to close this thing off. So we ended our row starting with the purl. So when we're closing, we're going to close it with a simple. And then the next is the purl, because it's a simple. So we're just going to continue our alternations, but we're going to do it for our closing. I don't know. I just like the way that actually looks, you know. I'm one of those, I want to see the stitch kind of continue. I don't want it to see it abruptly end when it gets to the end. It, to me, keeps the project continuity going on, because you got it at the beginning, why not go at the end instead of just using a simple stitch, a Tunisian simple stitch closure. You're using what was your stitch pattern, to me, because like if you did, like I said in the last video, if you did a knit stitch all the way up and then you just close it up with a simple stitch closure, it looks ridiculous. It doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't fall with the project. I can't talk today. And so that's why I like to close it with the stitch that I'm using, so that way it continues. Nobody else is going to notice it, especially if they don't know Tunisian, but I'm going to notice it. You know, and it's just like with little mistakes that some people make. They're like, oh, I don't notice it. Well, I notice it, of course. You know, if I notice it, it's going to eat at you. So fix it, you know. But then again, you know, you always got to keep one mistake in your projects. That way you know it's yours. Nobody has 100% mistake-free project. I can't say nobody, people, because there are people do, I do so, many times. And then sometimes if it's something so minute and so small and you don't even notice it, I don't notice it until I'm done, then it's not going to bother me. But if I notice it halfway through and I'm still constantly thinking about it, it's going to bother me. So I'll undo all the yarn until I get to that spot to fix it. All right, we're almost there. And then we got our bottom stitch we're just going to pull through. Link it off, go ahead and trim your yarn. And then I always chain 2, just because that gives me enough leeway that I think to push it down and boom, secure the stitch. So this is the honeycomb, and it does look like a honeycomb. I like it. And then when you stretch it, you actually see the honeycomb a lot better. Sorry about that. There goes Shadow shaking away. But I like it. It has some give. So it's a good fabric. But remember, if you can like and subscribe my videos, it'd be greatly appreciated. And until next time, keep stitching.